to Krishnamurthy for a quick reaction. Krishnamurthy, you were telling us there have been incidents like this when Jagannath Reddy has been on his Padyatra. Has there been any threat to his life or any, intelligence over attacks, a possibility over him?
There were no intelligence reports, but then the area in which Jagannath Reddy has been carrying out his Padyatra for over a month now is next to the Andhra Odisha border, which is again heavily infested by Naxalites. So we saw exactly in the same location in Visakhapatnam district how one YSRCP MLA who joined TDP was attacked by Maoists, and was in the same district, so that is one major security lapse at that point in time, and now we are seeing this kind of an attack, and he was actually being assisted by the local police wherever he took out this Padyatra. But an incident like this in an airport is something which is really shocking. This lapse is something which is really not expected. We're also getting to hear that that particular person, Raju, who has been detained, is a waiter. And he just came across and he wanted to take a selfie, just like how, Jagan always, in his Padyatra, has been, always takes selfies with his fans who ever try to follow him. But this is something which was quite unexpected, and this dagger, which was completely, he apparently held the dagger in his pocket, and when he took it out, everyone were quite shocked when this incident happened. He was trying to attack his throat. He was trying to slit his throat, but then he ended up slitting the arm. The dagger attacked Jagannath Reddy. Apparently now medical aid was provided immediately to Jagan, and he is now back on his way to Hyderabad right now. So we'll get to know more details about this particular attacker. Who is he? Only details as of now is that this person's name is Raju, and he is a waiter who is working in Visakhapatnam.
All right, we are also running these visuals exclusively on Republic TV of the attacker being taken into custody. He's been accosted by the police officials there. Remember, there are a lot of agencies that are in charge of airport securities. Usually multi-agency. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens in this case as far as the probe is concerned. But very serious nature of that attack, because it has happened with an object, a sharp knife, small dagger of sorts, which in any condition should not be allowed inside an airport. This man, as Krishnamurthy is reporting, is a waiter. Did he work at the airport, Krishna?
Well, no, he wasn't working at the airport, but he came from outside, and Jagan in his Padyatras had this, the very thought of the Padyatra is for him to connect with the people one-on-one, and every day in his Padyatra, he ends up taking selfies with people who ever wanted to meet and greet him. So that was the basic idea, and this is something which the attacker looks like he knew that this was an opportunity to get closer to Jagan, and even security personnel also, they don't check people, because there are hordes of people who end up coming next to him while he is on his Padyatra, and this is something which is quite unexpected, that too in the premises of the airport, which is Vizag airport, which is something which is really shocking. It's a major security lapse which the police have to explain, and also in an area in Vizag is always in the zone, in the radar of Naxals. And security is something which has always been commented upon, especially after the YSRCP MLA was killed last month in the same district. So this is something which police will have to interrogate on. As of now, yes, the reactions have been pouring in when people, the YSRCP is condemning this attack. But again, how exactly did this incident take, and who is this particular person,
right,
and why was he even allowed so closer to him without a checker, is something which the police need to review.
Yeah. And, usually at most airports, Krishnamurthy, people who don't have a ticket are not really allowed inside the airport premises. So is there any information as to whether this man was actually taking a flight and that is why he was inside? How did he get inside? Are visitors allowed inside premises at Vizag airport?
Well, usually visitors are allowed to the first entrance of the Vizag airport till the point where they can actually get in. But with Jagan is something since he's on a Padyatra, people are usually allowed to come inside. There's a ring. Usually Jagan, when he's taking out Padyatra, there's a ring of people who are circling him. Those are usually the police personnel and local scouts and guides personnel who accompany him. And whoever would like to want to take a selfie, you are usually allowed inside the ring. Pose with him. Jagan usually takes the camera, his phone himself, and he clicks the selfie along with them. And that has been the nature of his Padyatra, where every day he ends up taking around 1,000 selfies. And mostly people are not checked because this is the entire duration of this entire way. People coming in and taking a selfie with him lasts for only about 5 to 10 seconds. So this kind of security lab inside an airport is something which is really shocking because while he's entering, usually people are not checked up, and this security law is something which needs to be reviewed very heavily by the Andhra Pradesh police. But as of now, the situation again remains that this particular waiter who's been named Raju is something which we need to check into as to what exactly are they doing, why did he actually decide to carry out an attack on Jagan Mohan Reddy.
As far as the visuals are concerned, many of those videos that we are running on Republic TV, it seems it happened well inside the airport. In fact, Subba Reddy was mentioning that this happened close to the lounge and even the toilet inside the airport. So just how this man had access to that area, which you can only get through after security or if you have a valid ticket, is a big question as well. Let's also go across to Pooja Prasanna, South India Bureau Chief, for more on this. Pooja, what is the latest that you're picking up, especially politically? Any more reactions coming in from the YSRCP?
Well, the latest allegation coming forth from YSRCP at this point of time, Shivani, is that the restaurant in which Raju was working belonged to a TDP leader by the name Harshvardhan. Of course, we cannot, verify this at this point of time, and we will try to see if the information is authentic. But very quickly, right after the attack, political colors being attributed to this particular attack. But what we are hearing from YSRCP at this point is Harshvardhan, who belongs to TDP, owned that particular restaurant in which Raju was working. Now, questions about how he got access to a knife that is typically used in cockfights in that part of Andhra Pradesh is something that has to be investigated. He was working in a restaurant. Interestingly, Visakhapatnam is also a defense airport where even photography is not allowed. So how is it that there was such lapse in security is something that only investigation will, of course, confirm. At this point of time, we can confirm that Raju has been taken in for questioning, not just by the CIPF, but even the Andhra police who had rushed to the spot. Jagan is well on his way to Hyderabad, where he goes every Friday to ensure that he signs in since the court has asked him to appear in front of the investigation officers in the disproportionate assets case. But, this political angle
Pooja,
now
can I request you to stay with us? We are getting the first TDP, another TDP reaction. In fact, Srinivas Kesinini is joining us over the phone line. And Mr. Srinivas, the first allegation of sorts coming in from the YSRCP is that this man who attacked Jagan Mohan Reddy worked at a restaurant belonging to a TDP leader.
Now that is totally baseless. The investigation is still going on. Once the inquiry is over, we'll get to know who that person is and what actually happened.
But TDP leader Harshvardhan owns a restaurant at the airport?
Yeah, that the police inquiry is going on. Now we cannot come to any kind of conclusions. YSRCP, as usual, will try to take some political mileage out of this. So once the police inquiry is over, we'll get to know the facts.
And overall, what do you make of this attack, sir, at the Vizag airport inside with a dagger that is usually used in cockfights?
Yeah, see, I cannot comment anything right now concretely on that. So only a few hours back it had happened. As we all know that every Friday the opposition leader had to attend court in Hyderabad, and he was traveling from Vizag to attend his court hearing in Hyderabad. So this incident happened in the airport launch. The government already had ordered for an inquiry. The police are investigating the issue. And the person who had attacked is already arrested and the interrogation is going on. So we'll get to know maybe by evening or tomorrow, we'll get to know further details.
You deny any allegations against TDP leader Harshvardhan?
No. See, these are all baseless allegations. See, this is the common practice of YSR Congress. I mean, whatever happens, they try to take some political mileage. They'll try to do some mudslinging. So, it is a common practice of YSRCP. It is no involved, and the allegations which they are making that Sachin is involved is working in a TDP owned restaurant is also not true. We'll get to know the details once the investigation is over. The person is already arrested.
Okay, I appreciate you joining us, Mr. Kesanini. Yes. All right, I appreciate that. Let's go back across to Pooja. Pooja, you heard what TDP leader Srinivas Kesanini is saying. He's denying, of course, even the suggestion that is coming from the YSR CP camp.
Absolutely. In fact, they will be on the back foot given the kind of, the photos also that have gone viral across Andhra Pradesh. But yes, like he rightly mentioned, there is an investigation ongoing and we will know the details as to what the motive of Raju was. Was he personally affiliated to any political party and what was Anaiv doing with him? As far as questions of Harshvardhan, the TDP leader owning a restaurant is concerned, we have some confirmation that he was in partnership to run a restaurant, a food court, in fact, inside the Vizag airport. Whether or not Raju belonged to that restaurant, whether or not he was working there, the police can confirm to us at this point of time. But we can assure our viewers that, whatever reports had come in earlier about a possible poisonous tip in that particular daga has been ruled out by the police, and after first aid, Jagan Mohan Reddy is on his way to Hyderabad.